Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to be drawing another fun little sketch. You guys can draw along with me or you can just watch me do this. I like usually just making a separate sketch. If I'm going to be testing out my materials, I like to make a sketch that, I don't really care about very much so that I can just test it for my, I can just test my pens for it. So if you want to try your pens, definitely, I definitely recommend you doing a test sketch so that you guys can, do some warm-ups or understand how it works better so you guys can get used to it so that you guys don't save it up for your final pieces and then ruin it, potentially. So I know I've had that problem before where I would always try to make the perfect pieces and then go all in, right, with new materials, and then it would turn to be not what I expected. So definitely try to do a test sketch here. So that's what I'm just going to be doing. And let's just get started. So I'm just going to be doing a little fun little sketch. You guys can draw whatever you want. This is just a test here. So I like using just portraits in general just because it's just more, it's what I'm comfortable with. So if you guys don't want to do a, like a person or anything like that. You can even do a car, you can do anything else. Just make sure that you're practicing with your materials. So I like doing portraits because that's just easiest for me. I like drawing them and I also just enjoy it in general. So I'm just drawing a girl head here because I like drawing girls as always. So expect me to draw a lot of girls. I know that a lot of people, when they draw anime at first, they draw a lot of girls first and then they draw guys later on. Guys, I mean, there are definitely a lot of people who draw a lot of guys as well, which is totally fine. I just prefer drawing girls because personally for me they're more fun because they have more curves and softer features, and you can kind of go all out with them. You can make really cute eyes and go crazy with the hairstyles, make them super long, make them super crazy. And nobody would bat an eye. When it comes to guys, you gotta be a little bit careful. At least that's in my experience. But if you want to draw a guy, go ahead and do that. So I'm just drawing a little girl here. Not little, she's older, but and I'm drawing more of a head portrait just because since your image is going to be focused a lot towards the head, it's good to try and understand how to ink that, especially when it comes to hair and the like. So I always like to practice with heads first. So here's a neck. Here's a nose. And here's the mouth. And notice everything is pretty much similar to what I've done before. Let me zoom in a little bit. So at this point, I don't really draw my lines anymore. I just kind of go by eye where they would be placed. Usually I would make the size of the eye about this big in comparison to the head and about that height. So usually just by guessing, not really guessing, but just more like estimating, you can figure out where would be the best place to put the eyes. And if you're not confident enough, you guys can also draw very lightly first, just to kind of put in a basic sketch. So I'm going pretty dark here because I'm pretty confident with how I want to place my eyes and everything else. If you're not super confident, draw it very, very lightly, to the point where you probably can't even see it. And once you know where to put it, then you can start darkening. So that's what I always did back then, And for me, I can't really say much here, but I used to be super perfectionist with my art, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are as well. But when you're perfectionist, you expect every line to be perfect, and for me, I always learned the hard way, which is that's not the case, because it just makes it harder for yourself. You're actually limiting yourself the more you try to be perfect with it. So every time I'm like, oh dang, I missed a spot, or like, oh dang, I drew in the wrong area or drew in the wrong place, then that's where I'm just like, I should have drawn lighter. So draw light first, then darken once you feel more confident. I always make sure to lower, or not really lower, but I always make sure to make my eyes not reach the bottom of the nose because that'll be way too big, unless it's huge eyes. But usually I would kind of put it before the nose ends or starts, because for me that looks the most comfortable. In fact, it looks proportionally pretty good. So once you guys remember where you guys can put, or where it's good to put the eyes and the nose and everything else, then everything starts becoming a lot easier. So I'm putting in the eyelids. And I'm kind of just making up a character right now. I'm not, I'm kind of just drawing whatever. So can add some little details along the eyes as well. My job is to make the anime look easy, even though it's probably not the easiest thing to do. However, once you guys, start getting it, then it starts looking a lot easier to draw. So all of this, drawing in general is just communicating, right? Do you want round eyebrows? Do you want sharp eyebrows? Or do you want sharp eyes? Or do you want round eyes? All this drawing is basically just communicating what you want people to see. It's not an abstract thing. It's not like it depends on you interpretation thing. You draw what you want people to see. So I'm drawing this in a specific way how I want you to see. I want you to see that she's kind of like chill. She's kind of like mature in her eyes. And, she just has that kind of cool look. So, I'm not going to draw a super happy-go-lucky girl and call it her chill, although she could be in her personality. But it won't show unless I write her in that way, if I put her in a comic and then make her, act really chill. However, if you make a girl look chill, then she, you can automatically say, yeah, she's a chill person. So that's just another example. So make sure that when you are communicating with your characters, personality-wise, that they look the part most of the time. Let's give her some hair. How about that? Let's give her some parted bangs. How about that? I feel like she'll be kind of like a big sister, like older figure type of girl that, cares for her friends in like a motherly way. So I kind of like this kind of parted bangs look because it just looks more mature. And once again, as you see me drawing hair, notice how I continue to overlap different shapes together, grouping them into different sections. So it's not like I'm going to draw one strand at a time. It's groups of strands that I choose to draw in. I can make this into one group as well, but I'm kind of parting these into two different strands just to make it look more dynamic and just have more depth. I'm going to give her a cowlick because why not? Notice how I always make sure I draw a top and a back form or underneath form. Or top or under form, whatever that's called. Top side and underside, I should say. Now, if you want to give her a hairstyle, feel free to do that. I feel like I'm going to give her a little braid from the side here. And this can just be very simplified. This can be over her ear as well. And let's give her a nice little ribbon. And notice I'm not putting too much detail in the hair, like hair strands, or make it super line-like or super, like, I don't know, dense, because I'm going to be lining this, and in the end, I'm also going to be coloring this at some point. So it's better to not overdo with your lines and just let the color do the job, because the more you put lines in it, the denser your drawing will look. Whereas if you just use color to show the density in your lines, then, or the density in the hair, for example, then it will start to look more anime-like and more comfortable to look at. And if you want to do very, very dense looking hair, like a lot of hair strands in the hair, that's a stylistic choice. That is more of a, like you have to know how to control it without making it look too dense like a forest, right? You want to make sure that you're controlling how much you are doing in terms of line work and form and lines and everything to be able to master that. So I would suggest making sure that you have enough space, you know, enough detail in the hair that you can line with, but not enough so that it looks like this. So I'm going to just draw very lightly here. So do not do this. Don't do that, because the coloring later on will cover all these strands later on. So that's why you want to make sure that that is simplified rather than super dense, and that will make your drawings look super beginner-like rather than more professional. So let's give her a little collar, or let's give her like a little student uniform collar, sailor outfit collar, whatever that's called. That's not how you draw that. They have collar kind of going downward and rounding out in the center. There. And I'm not going to draw the line either, because that can be for later. Draw a little ribbon in the center. There. So that is pretty much your little fun little sketch if you want to draw this. But anyways, that's pretty much it. And we will line this, and I'll show you guys how to start with that. Anyways, that'll be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.